Hi everyone, this is Melody with Design by Melody. I'm here with a layout for you using my stash kit number 3 from 2017. And this one actually is going to be using the Family Ties collection pack that was kind of my jumping off point for this kit. Now my very first layout with the kit didn't actually use that collection pack, which is kind of funny because that's really the whole reason I had put this kit together was because I had used this one. But that's the great thing about putting a stash kit together. You can use it in a variety of different ways and you don't necessarily have to use all of the supplies that are in there. But this layout is going to use that kit, and it's going to kind of create most of the cards for the background. I will have to pull out a few other ones, but it's going to create most of the cards for not the background, but for the cards themselves in this Project Life spread. So I went through all of the papers and kind of picked out a few of them that had the cards that I was interested in. So I'm going to use this polka dot card in the top right. And then I'm also going to use that this or that card. It was just a journaling card that kind of gives a this or that, and you circle whatever you want. And then I also am using that You Can't Buy Cool card that was also from the cut apart sheet. And then the very bottom card, which is that blue tone on tone, like grid sort of diamond shaped pattern. I don't know how what you would even call that, but that's also from the kit. It's not a cut apart sheet, it's the back side of one of the pages. And the same thing with the polka dot. That was not from the cut apart, that's actually on the back side of one of the actually they're both cut aparts, but I'm using the back side of the cut aparts, the solid 12 by 12 pattern paper, not the actual cut out apart design. So I'm flipping through my cards to decide what else I want to include. I'm going to pull out 2 of the 3x4 cards that I had that had added to the kit, and those are actually Studio Calico cards. One is a navy blue with kind of a gray alpha, like brush alpha on it, which is where I'm putting that jersey that Kaylin drew. And then the other one is has lime green like hash marks on it, and that really fits with the color scheme as well. So immediately as I was flipping through what cards I wanted to include and what things I wanted to include, I had found that sticker on the sticker sheet that says, because of you, I am me. And that's really a awesome caption for that photo of Ernest and Kaylin together, because they really are definitely father and son. There is no denying that. Their mannerisms are very similar. They look very similar. They're built the same way. Their body shapes are the same way. So it's really kind of funny because truly, because of you, I am me. I mean, truly, in more ways than one, not just in existence, but in the way he acts, in the way he looks, and the things he does. You know, it's just kind of funny because that was such a fitting sticker for that photo. I pulled out some of the papers again and cut 2 more 4x6 cards. I didn't have any there that I really wanted to use. Plus, they had the rounded corners. Most of them did anyway, so I would have mounted it on a piece of white cardstock. And since I didn't have the other 4x6 cards mounted on white cardstock, I decided just to go back through the Family Ties kit and cut 2 more pieces of paper with the same blue tones, just in different patterns. So I've got a chevron at the top and then a stripe at the bottom. I had this card, the one that says You Can't Buy Cool, and that's really kind of goes along with this photo at the top. So I took one of the little swirly arrows, like a curly Q arrow, and I put it across the 2 cards. So it starts down there at the bottom, on the bottom card that says You Can't Buy Cool, and then it kind of ends at the top with the picture of Kaylin. He's dancing. He's got his little boxer shorts on, his sunglasses, and his Avengers hat. He's got a baseball hat that has Avengers on it. So he's dancing. And so I just thought that was kind of clever. And that card really is fitting for that. And I'm not really going to embellish it anymore. I'm going to add a little heart to it, and then that card will also be done. So Kaylin, as I've mentioned before, I think I've mentioned this before, he's very much into sports, and he creates his own opinions, and he has his own teams, and he has his favorite players. So there were on a menu, I think this was So we don't really eat out during the week, but we usually go out to eat dinner at least one, like on the weekend, either Friday night or Saturday night typically. And this was on a menu. I want to say it was the California Pizza Kitchen. It had a little like basketball jersey, which the kids can decorate on the menu, on the kids menu. And so he had put number 10 and he had chosen his team name was Tigers. So I just cut it out because it's just so funny to me because he doesn't always go with the teams that Ernest prefers or likes, and the Tigers aren't even necessarily like a basketball team, at least not that I know of. So Kalen just made up his own team. Going through and not addling. Now I'm making up my own words. I'm going through and I'm adding a little journaling box to this photo. It's just a picture of a beer that I got. I'm usually not a beer drinker, and so it's kind of funny. Ernest always tries to get me to drink a beer when we go out to dinner or something like that, just to relax and enjoy myself. I'm more of a margarita drinker or a martini drinker or something like that. But I got a beer, and when I do get a beer, I like the apple ciders. They're very refreshing to me. There's a couple different breweries in Raleigh that make them. Of course, and then you got your more national brands. But I usually, if I'm going to get a beer, I'll try one of those from a different brewery or something like that. And so I don't normally get a beer when we go out, but recently I've been loving ciders, and you just captioned that. I just included that here. That's one of those things that you're not going to always remember later, but that's kind of something that might be interesting to know. So this card says this or that, and I've kind of already circled the options, but I'll tell you what it says. Work or play, and I circled play. Sports or hunting, circled sports. Water or land. I originally circled land because Ernest is much more of a land person, but Kaylin and I really like the water, so I circled both of them. Serious or silly, definitely circled silly. Movies or books, circled movies. However, Kaylin really likes books, and so do I. Indoors or outdoors, and it's definitely outdoors. Oh my gosh, my family is very much an outdoorsy kind of family. Adding a few of these little hearts around the page just to have a little pop of pink. It was not necessary, but I am going to add a label on that jersey card, and it's going to be a little pink label. And so I'm just adding a few of these little pink hearts and a pink arrow on that photo with the beer. There was a 3x4 card in the Studio Calico set that said real life, and I just trimmed that down, and I included that with the photo of the two cars. So let me tell you the story of this as you're watching me embellish this. So Ernest, one of our cars ended up having some problems last year, and so we ended up selling it, and we went to buy a new car. Well, Ernest since I got the last it was actually a used car, but still new car, it was time for Ernest to get a new car, one that he really would like. So he had wanted he wanted a Honda Accord, and so he'd purchased a 2013 Honda Accord with a stick shift, a manual. Well, about 3 weeks after getting it, and this was like his dream car, like he loved it. It's what he had always wanted, loved it. And so about 3 weeks after getting it, someone hit him and the car was totaled. So this is a picture of the car. It didn't actually appear to be that much damage from the outside, but it was totaled. He was hit directly from the side. I think someone was pulling out. Basically, he was hit on the side. Someone should have been stopping at the end of a road, and instead of stopping, they hit the gas and just slammed right into him and pushed him across about 3 lanes of traffic. Luckily, he really didn't get hurt that bad. He got a scratch on his head, which is what the picture is at the bottom. It's about a 4-inch cut on his head, and ended up having to do some not physical therapy, but go to a chiropractor for quite some time. But the photo on the right, on the bottom, is the new car. This is the new car. So first he got a 2013 black manual Honda Accord that was then totaled 3 weeks later. And then, funny enough, he ended up getting, after that, he ended up getting a 2017 Honda Accord. And it was just funny because he originally got the manual car that maybe went a little bit faster. It was a little bit sportier, and it just wasn't meant to be because it was totaled, and then it was no longer his car. And then he ended up, and I couldn't drive it. I wasn't really interested in driving a manual. I would have learned. I was not opposed to it, but I was not really interested in learning how to drive it. So I never would have driven it. It would have definitely been his car. But it was just kind of funny because it just seemed like it was meant to be to not have that car. So the photo on the right is of the new car. That's the car we currently have. A year later, we still have that car. So it says real life here and now on the left card, and then the right one says one chapter at a time. So I just thought it was kind of interesting. Okay, yeah, so we got the old car was totaled August 13th, and we got the new car August 25th. So it was a big part of what was happening that month. Pretty serious car accident, and then the act of buying two different cars was kind of interesting as well. So I thought that would be interesting to include in our project life, because that definitely does not happen every day, and hopefully will not happen that frequently. So I'm going through and adding little bits and pieces to finish out this layout. I have a couple word strips that I want to include. This at the top says, shine like the whole universe is yours. And that is so my child. He shines and he doesn't really care who's watching. He's a very shy kid, so if he notices you're watching, he's probably not going to do it. But in his own element, at his own home, he is very much his own person and really just does not care what anybody else thinks and really enjoys himself, which I think that's perfect. And then I'm adding the word stickers down at the bottom that says stronger than yesterday, keep moving forward, let life surprise you. And that's really kind of fitting for the whole story of the cars as well. I think I am almost done with this layout, just adding the few little extra bits and pieces, making sure I am done. I'll kind of move things around. I need to add my journaling onto that real life card. I did add the little label onto the jersey card, just like I said I would. It just says Kaylin designed his own jersey, ... And then I'm going to add a little arrow down here on the right photo with the white Honda Accord with the date. I had to check with Ernest to make sure I had the proper dates, but I did. And then I also add the date to that real life card as well. And then I should be about done. I'm just kind of adding the final little elements like I always do. When I'm near the end of a layout, I start looking around. Oh, and at this point, this is where Ernest was looking at it with me, and I added the second circle around the water and land. And he's looking at it with me, and I'm kind of showing him the different parts of the layout and getting the correct dates. This is where he was telling me the dates to include, and then I'll go back and add my journaling once I'm done with everything. This layout was really focused on the blues and the greens, because all of these photos are of Ernest and Kaylin. The only part that's really about me is the beer. And still, it doesn't, the blue and the green theme worked really well with that. But I did have a few little pops of pink. Sometimes I like the alternate color to kind of add a little bit of something extra. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back soon with another layout. All right, guys. Bye.